talking about deliberate extermination over many years.
Yeah, but wasn't slavery for like hundreds of years, right, Isabel?
Slavery lasted 246 years. That's 13 generations of people, plus another 100 years of Jim Crow, segregation, violence, and murder.
It is, of course, horrific. I am not downplaying any of it.
There were so many millions of African Americans who were murdered from the Middle Passage until the end of legal segregation, that it goes beyond the realm of an official number. There is no number.
I didn't know that.
Stunning.
It is, and I understand you're trying to make sense of American racism. It is noble. But your thesis linking caste in Germany with the United States is flawed.
That was a clip from the new film from award-winning director Ava DuVernay, and it's entitled Origin. It has been getting rave reviews. Rolling Stone writes it may be the most important biopic of a book ever made. And the Washington Post called it one of the most powerful films on screen this season. The movie is based on the book Caste, The Origins of Our Discontents, but written by Pulitzer Prize-winning journalist Isabel Wilkerson. It follows Wilkerson's journey to discover the roots of racism and social inequality in America and around the world. And joining us now, the film's director, writer and director, Academy Award-nominated filmmaker, Ava DuVernay. And it's great to have you on the show. You read the book 3 times. What made you drawn to bringing it to life?
You know, I think we're all experiencing a fatigue. I think I hear a lot of apathy from people, confusion as to how to organize our thoughts about all that's going on in the world. And that book for me was very anchoring. It really captivated my imagination with a new language, this word caste that I'd never really applied to my contemporary experiences, and pulled together history, pulled together the future, put it in the present day, and became something that I wanted to make sure more people were interrogating.
So obviously, there has been so much debate, especially since 2020, over race. We now are having a battle over history for those that don't want to face our past. I am curious, though, with everything that has been written about the struggles, the race battles, not just over the past 3 years, but over the past 350, 400 years. What separates this book, and what do you think separates your movie from so many other things that have been put out there?
I don't know if it's separate. I think it's a part of the conversation, and I think kind of adding this new word in caste and inviting people to think about our divisions in a way that's not just about skin color and race, but it's about a hierarchy of human beings, the way in which we organize ourselves according to power and status, and the way that we treat each other because of that organization is a new way to drill into all of the isms. Basically, as I understood it, Isabel Wilkerson is saying and sharing this hypothesis that caste undergirds all of the isms: racism, sexism, Islamophobia, homophobia, anti-Semitism, ageism. All of them sit on top of this idea of I am better than you based on a set of random traits. That is caste. And to understand our divisions in that way, for me, allows me to talk about it in a different way that's free of some of the limitations of caste. Limitations of race. You say race to someone, they start to shut down. And it's hard to even have a conversation about the core issues. Caste allowed that to open up a bit for me.
Ava Sharpton here. Well, one of the things that I think is important in watching your film, one is that you're such an established filmmaker, you did not have to do this, is that the context of it right now, as we're dealing with issues of DEA and other issues that others have had privileges through families and all that we didn't, is to really, at this time, as you focused, as I watched this, on people really remembering how we got where we got, and therefore how do we repair it. Talk about how Isabel's book and your, I think, great film about it brings people back to let's start where the problem started so we can look at the solutions now in a more balanced and fair way.
Yes. Good morning, Rev. One of the things that I think her book did, and what we try to do in the film, is bring history to the forefront. You know, in this country, we like to put our history in books, put them off the shelf, then take the book off the shelf and ban it. Act as if it didn't happen, you know, move forward and never really drill down into the behavior from the past, how it reflects on us today. This film synthesizes moments in history along with our current day processing of that history. There are two stories that run side by side. And one of the things that's so critical is that we internalize, we make that history intimate, we individualize it. So often we're able to say about a group of people, those people are that way. We assign blame to people and we label people based on generalities and generalizations. And one of the things that the book tries to do, and we try to do in the film, is to humanize. You get to know Trayvon Martin before he is killed. You get to understand who the Dalit men who are manual scavengers and dig trenches and clean out sewers with their hand, who they are before you generalize them and say they're a certain way. And so I believe humanization is the key. It's the medicine for caste. It's about drilling down into the intimacy of each human being and recognizing that they are just like us. That's a part of history that we don't consider largely, and it's something that we want to bring to the forefront.
The new film, Origin, is in theaters now. Writer and director Ava DuVernay. Thank you so much, and congratulations on this project. Thanks for being on this morning.
One of my favorite shows.
That does it. Oh, I love that.
Thank you so much.
She watches Morning Joe.
And